Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the planners I plan to use in 2025. But first, if you're new here, hey, my name is Lauren, and on my channel, I share tools and tips to help you on your self care journey. So, for 2025, it looks like a lot happening right here, but I promise it really isn't that much. And I really feel really good about this, more so than the last couple of years. I really feel like these are the things that I actually will be sticking with for the duration of the year, with the exception of one, just because it's only 6 months. But the rest of these things, I feel very confident that I will be sticking with it. We'll see what happens. I'm really trying to do better about making sure when I make my planner purchases that they are actually things that I know will work for me. And I think part of the last couple of years with me has been figuring out what I like, what I don't. And I think I've got a good grasp of what I like and what I don't. So let's go ahead and get started with this. And let me start first with the journals that I plan on using in 2025. Okay, so I have here two things, this and this. If you are not new to my channel, then you have seen this little notebook before. It is just a small pen and pillar notebook. This company actually is no longer selling direct to customers. They are actually partnering with brands. Right now, you can only get their stuff through Target. So this isn't something that I think you can get anymore unless they are still selling through January. I'm not sure. But I have been using this since April of 2024, about halfway through. So I will definitely continue finishing this up into 2025. That's usually what I do with my long form journals. That's what this is for. It's just lined pages. And this is just where I go whenever I just need to jot down a bunch of things that I'm thinking about, my feelings, that sort of thing. So this is going to be sticking around. What is new ish, I say new ish because I have been daily journaling to an extent in my Moxie Life horizontal planner this year, off and on. And what I found with doing that is one, that I like doing the daily journaling, but two, that that wasn't enough space. So I picked up the new like paper flex options. This exact like daily duo paper flex is not an option anymore. It's not on their website. They've sold out of these. They might still have the paper flex daily, which is just one book, which actually is cheaper than getting it broken up into these two. So it's basically bigger than A5, and the pages are broken down where you have like a schedule section and then a today section. So my intent is to use this as like a daily journaling type thing for me to write down like basically the wins for the day or moments that made me happy, just anything that I need to kind of record as important to helping me with my reflections at the end of the week. I do want to continue to use like a part of the Moxie Life system without actually being in a Moxie Life product this year. So that'll be one of the things that's absent from my lineup is there will not be a Moxie Life product, but I will be using parts of the system in different ways. So with journaling, I've always felt like journaling is something that I keep for a long time. So this is something, these are books that I will be keeping. And so my weekly reflections, I plan on doing them on the Sunday pages because this doesn't have any extra pages in it beyond like the dailies and the monthlies. It's strictly daily pages. So my idea around like, well, where am I going to put like a weekly reflection is to put it in here alongside all my other journaling so that I have one like book to kind of keep it all in. And I might also, on the last page of every month, turn that into a, so this would be the last page of February. I would turn this into like a monthly reflection and do my monthly reflection right here as opposed to doing my normal like a daily thing on this. So hopefully that makes sense to you, but that's what I'm planning on doing. I really like the Hemlock and Oak paper. I briefly was in a notebook of theirs earlier in 2024 when I was like kind of figuring out what my weekly planning situation was. And for a brief time, I drew out a layout and I really liked the paper. So I know that the paper works for me in this, and I know from this past year of using my journaling every day, that has worked well. So these are going to end up sitting next to my bed because that's typically when I do this. I do this at the end of the day before I go to sleep. I jot down, all the things. I feel like it really helps me not lay there and then all of a sudden start thinking about everything. It helps me fall asleep faster, I guess, to spend time writing down and reflecting on the day and all that before I actually go to sleep. So I'm hoping that by me getting it split up, it wouldn't be so hard to like actually carry around because it's just a lot lighter, and my wrist will be happier because sometimes my wrists bother me. So anyway, I'm looking forward to starting this in January. Okay, so this next one I'm going to show you is another planner that I've already been using for half the year for 2024 and want to continue doing in 2025, basically because I already have it. It's a daily planner, although I do plan on using this a little differently than I was, mainly because the way I've been using it now is I've been using this as my weekly, my monthly, and my daily, pretty much like an all in one. I've been putting the monthly calendar stuff all in there and everything from my family. It's basically been my main planner. So I am going to be moving into something different for my weekly and my monthly portions, but this is going to still stay my daily because it has daily pages in it. So I might end up repurposing how I use the week pages in here because they do have this, and I might use this to record dinners, meals. That way, I kind of have like an actual backlog of when I made things. I do currently use some magnets on the fridge that keep track of what I've cooked within the last 2 weeks. Basically, everything that was cooked last week, and I write it down like every day. This helps me remember what I cooked for dinner and manage the leftovers in the refrigerator. I found that it became too difficult for me to constantly have to think about, well, when did I cook that? How long has it been in here? Is it still good to eat? So I've been doing that magnet system for like 3 years, probably maybe 4 now, and that's been working really well. But beyond, once like the week is over, because it's like dry erase, I erase it and I no longer have a record. So I might do that. I don't find myself actually needing to reference it in the past, but it would be kind of nice to kind of see how often am I like repeating the same thing. Sometimes you make something and then you forget about it, and then it's like months later and you're like, oh yeah, I haven't made that in a while. So I might do that. I might not. We'll see what happens, but I am planning to continue to use this as a daily planner when I need it, because sometimes between my kids' schedules and mine and all the different things I have to do, it just makes me feel better to write it all down either the night before or in the morning, just usually whenever I feel overwhelmed, like there's a lot going on, and it helps me focus on just like the today. So, this is the daily planner that has been working for me for a while. I have used it multiple times, so I'm going to continue to use this at least until this one ends, which is the end of June. So, I'll have to figure out the second half of the year later, but that's a problem for future Lauren. So, these came with my purchase, and I have been using these perpetual calendars. I've been keeping them next to my bed to track my yoga every day. So if you don't know, I have been practicing daily yoga now. 2024 will be, once I'm done with 2024, it'll be like 4 full years of doing yoga every day. And I keep track of like how long my practices are in here, more for my own sake of making sure that I don't go too many days without doing like a longer practice. I don't want to get into too bad of a habit of constantly only doing like short practices. And I've also been using it to, I'll jot down like when my menstrual first day was, and I've been using it also like on this side is the yoga, on this side I'll use for other notes. Also like tracking cardio days and how much time I'm spending whenever I do cardio, which I do need to get back to being more regular. That's one of the things I haven't yet figured out. I get going with it and then something happens and then I fall off, and I think that's normal for most people. So this is going to stay, at least for now. I did think maybe I might move my yoga stuff into my journal, but there isn't really a good place for it in that Hemlock and Oak for it. So for now, since it's been working, I don't want to change too many things at once. So I'm just going to keep doing that here. If at some point I decide I can't want to move it somewhere else, I could just remove the information over, and that's not that big of a deal. But for now, that's staying my little perpetual calendar for yoga and my daily planner. So, my budgeting system is something else that has been really working well for me. And I repurchased the exact same planner that I got last year, just with a different cover. And I actually opted this time to not have the plastic on top of it, also. So, it's just the cover. This is from Plum Paper. And I also opted for just the neutral tabs this time. Last year, I got the modern color scheme and I wanted to just switch it up a little bit. I also decided not to do the lines on the monthly on here like I did last time, just because it felt more busy. And I don't really write in this space too often anyway for me to actually need the lines. So it's not that big a deal for me to give that up. But this is the layout. Oh, and I have a little X here because with Plum Paper, there's usually duplicate weeks if the weeks don't end like cleanly on a Sunday. So I have this here to indicate like don't use this page so I can make sure that I'm budgeting in the right pages. Otherwise that would be a pain. So I've already went through and X'd out the pages that I don't want to be using. But pretty much what I do in here is I have little page flags and I move them around from month to month on this side. And over here I list out the bills and the amount of the bills. And then once I write them down in my register, which is what this is just a Sterling ink TN grid notebook that I've been using, I think, since March. Yeah, March of 2024. So I'll keep using this until it's done. I probably can get to March for sure in this one. I don't know what I'm gonna do after. I don't have another one of these exactly. I do have another like Sterling ink A65 notebook that I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna use that instead, even though it's a different size. It'll be like this. I'll open it that way, and I'll probably have it written out like this, and as opposed to the way I do it now, where it's logged this way. And if you know what a checkbook register log looks like, you can imagine what I mean. And it should be fine. I like the paper. I really like the paper on this, and I use the Sarasa Mark-On point 4 in here, and I like the way that works for keeping track of the checking account. But anyway, so once I've written it down in here, I check it off in here. My husband gets paid every week. So basically every week I have listed out like these are the bills that have to get paid with this paycheck and so on. And then I move the little sticky to the next month so that I can easily like remember when the bills are coming due. And that's been working extremely well for a while. So I just decided I wasn't going to switch up the actual planner. 2024 was the first time I used this exact layout with Plum Paper for this purpose, and it's worked really well. And I was like, you know what? I'm changing other things in my system. Let me keep things simple and keep my brain happy and not overwhelmed with too many changes. So I decided to just make an easy choice and get the same one. And it is going to live in here, which is where my current one is. I like this cover. This is a Moterm half letter cover. I bought this like secondhand from someone in the planning community. So I like this because it allows me to keep like the extra cards that I'm not carrying around here. And then there's more card slots in the back, and has a little pen loop so I can keep the pen that I use the most attached to this. Well, the pen that I use solely for this. It's an erasable friction pen so that if, bills get changed around, I can erase it. And I use this zipper here to keep my checkbook pad of checkbooks. And then in this pocket here, sometimes I stick papers and bills that might be important. But yeah, I really like keeping that all together in here in one spot. It makes everything easy, and I'm excited that I don't have to really think about this. So this is just going to continue on just in a newer planner. And I'm obsessed, by the way, with this cover. I hope Plum Paper never gets rid of this as an option because I have purchased this cover on multiple products that I've got from them. Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, this planner is the main planner that's going to be like the biggest change for me. Actually, there's one more planner that I have that is like a Franken plan situation that I'll share with you here in a minute. That's going to be the last planner. But this one and that one, I guess, are going to be the two ones that my brain's going to be figuring out how to work through for this year. But I don't think it's going to be too difficult. I'm not pressuring myself to use all the pages and do all the things at once. But the main reason I got this planner was because of the layout. So if you didn't see the video for this, this is basically the layout that I've been using right now for my week because it looks very similar to what's in the Erin Condren daily, except it's laid out differently. So it's got it dated already for me, which is a plus. I've been having to date it, which has been kind of annoying. So these are already dated, and I'm just going to use it the same way I've been using it because my brain has already kind of got used to this for the last 6 months. So I'm not afraid that this won't work. This is the newish part for me, and this I is kind of what I was missing already from before because even though I had the Moxie Life Planner, I wasn't really I need to have it in the same place as my plans, but the layouts that they currently have just do not work for me with planning. So I was missing a space in my planner for me that was going to have like weekly actions. I did try and do that in the Erin Condren, and because they do have like line pages in there that go along with this, and I did that a little bit, but I like that this has that also. So I'm gonna try and figure out a way to utilize this as like my to-do list, kind of loosely based on what my weekly actions are for the week, which would be based on whatever my monthly goals are. So I'm planning on putting my monthly goals over here because this, after the calendar page, we have this baby here. So I already have a spread set up for the January month, I believe. Yes. See where I've already did it. I used the Moxie Life highlighters. So these are the Moxie Life colors, and I'm going to be using these pages as my monthly goals pages. And then referencing these every week to figure out what action items do I need to do that are related to my goals for that week. I am not sure if I will be color coding on these pages also. Maybe I do have the dot marker, so I could dot depending on where I decide to place it ultimately, where I feel like it works best. But I also like that there's just multiple different spaces for me, and I could separate, like these could be my weekly actions, and then here I can have like a to-do list of things that are not necessarily related to my goals at all, but there are still things that I need to do. So I like the versatility of this, and it's not committing like an entire page to just being goals, and it's just giving me like sections because I usually don't have that many action items anyway. This is probably way more lines for action items. I probably could just get away with this many action items, honestly. So I think this will work well for me. I do not plan on doing like weekly reflections in here, although that would be a great use of some of the space. I think Heather, the creator of this planner, intended on this space right here to be like a weekly reflection area. But I already showed you that I'm planning on doing my weekly reflections in my other journal because to me, I'm thinking about like the end use. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the 25 days of planner tips every year that Tamara does. And Plan Sarah Plan did a video where her planner tip for switching planners was to think about the end use of the planner. And when I saw that, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I have been doing and trying to do and I already had figured that out, which is what I just said. My intent with journaling is usually to keep the planner or journal, whatever, long term. Like when the year's over, I'm not throwing it out, I'm keeping it. So, and to me, reflections I need to go in places that I plan on keeping. And I do not plan on keeping like my weekly planner or my daily planner and making it difficult to where it's like, oh, I want to keep the reflection pages, but I don't want to keep the rest of the stuff. So to make it easy, I'm going to be putting as much of the reflections as I can that I want to keep in my Hemlock and Oak daily planner that I'm using for journaling. So I hope that makes sense. So this one actually does have some reflection pages in it as well. There are these there are these pages. I might use these prompts in the Hemlock and Oak. I might not. I'm not sure. I might do this and then like take the information that I want the most to keep and put it over there. I have no idea yet what I'm planning on doing. I might completely like ignore all these reflection questions and just do maybe whatever the reflection questions are that Moxie Life does. I'm not sure, but what really drew me to this was the main weekly page layout and the pages in the front where they have like future planning for 2026. As you get those dates, you can put them in here. There's also this cool spread that I don't know what I'm going to do with that I did toy around with. This would be a cool place to track yoga minutes also if I wanted to. That way I could see it all in one place. But again, this is not something I'm going to keep long term. So, you know, um, there's like a year list page. There's a lot of these really cool functional pages in here. This page is something I plan on returning to, using to remind me of things that typically happen in the calendar year that I need to kind of like mentally prepare for, so that I'm looking at these pages before I set up my month and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to using this in 2025 as like my main planner, and hopefully this works out well for me. I think it will. The layout just makes sense for my brain. Okay, and the last planner that I have is going to be my content planner. This is one that I've actually repurposed. So this is a planner that I did not buy recently. It was purchased a while ago. My daughter wanted to test out a teacher planner, like the Focus Teacher Planner. And this was a 2024 Focus Teacher Planner that I redated. And I have a couple of these for the entire year. So there's like 4 sheets in here from Planner Kate that I might use in these beginning pages. I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I will or I won't, but I have them that I could use to help cover up some of these pages that I'm not going to use. But I'll go ahead and show you this. I did uncoil it and then recoil. So I basically took out all the pages that I'm not going to need because I don't need a weekly planner for my content planning. I mostly just need the calendar page and some notes pages so that I can jot down some things. So I basically can cover this up. I don't have a use necessarily for that. And I might cover these up. I do know that I want to create a page in here. Obviously, these are old calendars, so I might cover these up, or I might just leave it alone and not worry about it. I lost my thought. So let me just keep on going. Maybe it'll come back. These pages are going to be probably used in this way where I use sticky notes to kind of help me figure out and plan ahead things that I might want to do. So I've already kind of pinpointed this is when I need to be doing like a Q2 update. This is usually when Life Planner launch happens for Erin Condren, and then when I need to film like a mid-year stack, Q4 update, that kind of stuff. So this is open to use however I feel like I need to. Oh, I was going to say that I am planning on setting up a page for like my coupon codes because I have become an affiliate for multiple brands, all brands that I actually use and like, and I need a place that has like all my codes in one spot so that I can easily reference it, and that'll make my life so much easier. So I am planning on creating like at least a page in here that has that information. But beyond that, I'm really just going to be using the month, and I've already went ahead and dated everything, and I used Planner Kate stickers. I already have like school days off, and I've already stuck in here birthdays and things like that, marked off days that the kids are off school, like they're grayed out here, so that I kind of know these are my work-ish days that I can do filming and other things like that for content. And I typically write down in here, I usually use sticky notes to plan like when I'm going to do stuff. And then I go back and I write in what I actually posted for film wise on YouTube. And then I also sometimes, I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I'll go back it'll take me a couple months before I do it, but I will use little Instagram stickers and I will mark out like the days that I actually posted on Instagram just to kind of get a feel for how active have I been on there. Cause sometimes I feel like I'm not active and then I'll do that and then I'll see, oh, I was more active than I actually thought I was. So there's actually a function to it and it actually makes me feel better. If you don't have something to measure, then it's really hard to feel like, oh, like this year sucked. But then if you look at the actual numbers or whatever of metrics, it makes you feel a little bit better. You're like, oh, okay, I actually did do it's just my mind thinking the worst. Our minds like to, I think, dwell on the things that go wrong and the times that we are, I don't like to use the word lazy, but that we just choose not to be productive, which I hate saying that either because I think even time that's not productive is productive because if you don't take breaks, then how are you going to have those moments of creativity? So, anyway, so that's there. And then the way this spread was, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I kept these pages and obviously I whited it out, left it saying the month, and then I kept the notes page because with the teacher planner it came with notes pages. So I kept this notes page here and yeah. So it looks a little weird the way it's laid out because maybe this ended up in the wrong spot. Is that how every single one of these? I tried to keep it the way it was and I just okay. Yes, that's how it is. Unless I stuck that in there on purpose. I feel like this wasn't intentional. This had to have been intentional. I did the recoiling of this months ago. I can't even tell you what. I want to say this was like done during the summer. I had planned on like, let me just use this. And so I must have intentionally moved the page because the way the layout is supposed to be, it's supposed to be like that. There's not supposed to be an in between. So I intentionally stuck this in between. But anyway, I don't know how I'm going to use the pages. I might kind of, I don't know, have some kind of breakdown of categories. I don't know. And obviously, this must have said January for me to white it out. Otherwise, I would have left it if it said February. But anyway, that's what I did. I kind of skipped over the fact these are not on the website anymore. These are some pockets. What is this? Ew, there's some like something stuck on here. Okay, but these are little dashboards that have like a slit here. It should fit. Yeah, it should fit one of these pages, sort of. If I rip one of these out. This is the medium-sized notepad sheet. It's my first time trying to stick one in here. I'm not gonna lie, one of the reasons why I actually like stuck these things in here was because without them, because I had taken out so many pages, the planner felt very loose and I wanted it to be a little bit more meaty. But yeah, this paper kind of sticks out a little bit. So it's not quite like designed for that, but that way you can get an idea for what size that is. So I'm probably just gonna keep like loose papers in there. Random notes, maybe. I like to write a lot of notes on stickies and then I don't know what to do with them. So this might end up being either I stick it on here like this, or if it's not a sticky and it's just a regular paper, I might stick it in here. Help me have multiple different places, I guess, to keep things. So yeah, that's why I stuck those in there. There was 3 of them it came with. The third one's way back here. Yeah, I put the third one way in the back with the pocket. And so here was the sheet that came with the stickers. I don't know why I kept that. And then this had a pocket. And I'm probably at some point going to cut off this cover and use any of my other 7x9 Erin Condren covers, because this is like the only planner I have that I would be able to do that. And I want to be able to use my covers. I just want to be able to use them and enjoy the artwork on the covers that I've purchased. Yeah, use the things I like. Anyway, so that is my content planner. Okay, so hopefully sharing my stack and my process for why I'm using my things maybe gave you an idea for how things, why did I say things? My planners and journals. That was weird wording. Can you tell I'm out of practice? I haven't filmed the video in a little while. Anyway, hopefully that helped in some way. Let me know if there was something I shared that maybe kind of sparked a idea in you. Hopefully I didn't give you any kind of, oh, I need to have that planner and add that to my lineup too moments, because that was not the intent of this video. It was not to try and persuade you to add another planner to your lineup. Maybe take what I've shared, food for thought, maybe to incorporate next year, only if something that you actually think will be of value to you. So I would love to hear what you are planning on using. If any of the planners I'm using is something that you will be using in 2025. And if you like videos like this, where, I talk about planners, and I'm going to try and do better in 2025. I mean, yeah, 2025. Why did I almost want to say 2026? I need to go eat lunch. Anyway, you guys, I forgot again what my thought was. Editing Lauren is going to have to finish the thought because I just completely forgot it. Oh, I probably was going to tell you to subscribe if you wanted to see more videos like this. Oh, I was going to say, oh my God, I remember now. I was going to say that in 2025, I do plan on sharing a little bit more videos related to self-care. I am thinking about doing a video. If you're listening this far and you want to see this, let me know, please. I did just finish going to a Justin Timberlake concert, my first concert ever, and I had a lot of anxiety leading up to the event, mostly because I was going to be in VIP and I wasn't sure how I was going to react to being that close to Justin. So I am thinking about doing a video that I honestly think will be helpful for somebody out there who maybe is wanting to go to a concert but has anxiety and thinks, okay, it might be too much for me to do, to handle, and wants some tips on how I coped and managed, and how I shockingly was not freaking out and out of my skin when he was like right there standing in front of me. So let me know if that's something you would be interested in, because I do think that I navigated that whole experience well in the like weeks and days and hours, minutes before he actually was like right in front of me. I think I navigated that well, and I honestly don't think I could have did that in like if I would have went to his last concert. His last concert was, I think, it's Man of the Woods, and that one was, I think, in 2018, and I totally didn't get to do that one. I had just had a baby. I had a baby in 2018 in the summer. So I've grown so much between like my yoga practice and all that stuff. And I don't think the Lauren of that year could have handled it. And I think I handled it very, very well. And I want to share, that journey with you if you think it's something that you would be interested in. So please let me know. I think it would be helpful. So I do want to share more things like that, more advice for those sorts of things, because life is life. And if I find something that I think is helpful and something that helped me, I do want to share it with you. But anyway, I'm rambling. If you haven't subscribed and all of that sounds interesting, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.